Top of the morning, Raider Nation. What a day. What a day. It is Monday, the first day of free agency. Well, not technically, but this is the first day where teams get to tamper and talk to some of these players. But one thing's for sure, the Raiders are going to be busy throughout the whole free agency season because we got a lot of money in the bank and we got a lot of holes to fill. So, hey, Raider Nation, what is going on? How y'all feeling, man? I feel like the Raiders are on the verge of a lot of different moves. I mean, the Raiders just made a move yesterday night, bringing in Terron Johnson from the Buffalo Bills. Before that, even last week on Friday night, we already know the deal with Maxx Crosby getting traded to the Baltimore Ravens. We'll touch up on that a little bit, and even the capital that we got in return and what the Raiders can do with that 14th overall pick. We'll also talk about some players that are on the trade block, as well as some players that the Raiders could possibly go out and get in free agency on day one. Now, usually the Raiders are not really busy on day one, but we'll see today if Clint Kubiak, if John Spytek definitely wants to put their hand in the cookie jar and try to bring in somebody big. But I do believe that the Raiders are on the verge of a big move. But that being said, I want to give a huge shout out to the chat right now. I know we're going live on both of my channels, the Samoan Raider Show and also Samoan Raider. So, you know, anything can happen. I know everything kind of opens up in just a little bit, but, you know, we're going to be here talking about all the moves that the Raiders will be doing, and I'm excited for it because it's a new era of the Las Vegas Raiders. But shout out to the chat one time for the one time, man. We got Casanova up in the building, man. Hey, he said, General Manager, Draft Expert Walt in the house. Yes, sir. Big Raider Rob up in here. He says, what's up? Ooh, my bad. I couldn't do the live Friday night. Gee, I was all fucked up over the trade, and seeing you shook up really fucked me up too. On to better days. Wish nothing but the best for Max. He left it on the field. We got Shogun, we got Angel, we got OT, we got King up in the building, Raider Ross up in the building, Raider John OG up in the building, man. We got Ghetto Boys, we got Allen. Hey, everybody good, dependent up in the building. I see you guys, man. Accelerator, my oos. Accelerator breaking. The Raiders have just traded Samoan Raider to Baltimore for a couple Ravens podcasters, man. But that being said, Oos, we cannot continue without bringing on the honorary Oos to talk about everything Raiders. Then my Oos, Mr. Joe Morley. How you doing, Oos? Good morning, new league season.
Good Monday morning. Hey, we're about 45 minutes away from some stuff about to happen, right? That's when the official tampering period begins for the NFL free agents. So we'll start seeing deals. But remember, just throw this out there before we begin. These deals can be agreed upon. Doesn't mean that they're signed until Wednesday. We've seen that before, right?
We've seen it before.
So, yeah, I'm signing with you, and then all of a sudden they be switching.
Yeah, because I remember the Roger Saffold years ago. That was one that I remember where the Raiders had a deal done in place and didn't fall through those, but you know
thank you. That was like a thank you. We didn't go through with that one because that was a horrible deal that the Raiders were making. But there's been other deals with like where I'm signing with the Cowboys, and then they go, you know what, I'm going back to my normal team. So there is that out there. There is some, you know, if you've been following with the news of the NFL this morning, and you know, not just Raider stuff. Rashawn Gary traded to the Dallas Cowboys this morning. So other Minka Fitzpatrick was traded from the. Hey, I remember when we used to be that bad. We used to make trades like that. I don't know what the Jets are doing. Some teams like to stay bad, and I'm lucky. That would have been a move that the Raiders would have made back in the day, right there.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they're trading for just a 7th round pick, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah,
to get Minka Fitzpatrick.
They also signed him to an extension too, and
$40 million extension, and also the Dolphins released Tua Tagovailoa, so he becomes available in the open market. Maybe a quarterback for the Raiders to really think about it, right? But you know, there has been a lot of moves. I know Rashawn Gary went to the Cowboys for a 4th round pick. But that being said, you know, let's start things off, because the Raiders made a huge move last night, trading for Terron Johnson, basically bringing him over here and having a pick swap, a 6-7 pick swap, right? So, you know, originally, you know, seeing the move yesterday, I was really excited about it, you know, bringing on somebody that could add to the secondary and somebody that at least is experienced and is a really good cornerback. I think that he's a solid cornerback, especially in the nickel. I know had a down year last year, dealt with a lot of injuries, but I think this is more of a low risk, high reward type of move for the Raiders. What is your overall thoughts on the Raiders trading for Terron Johnson?
I think it's a very good move. I think this is a smart move for the Raiders. The Buffalo Bills were going to release him mainly because of the salary cap issue. The Bills are like $20+ million over the salary cap. He's a nickel cornerback, new defensive coach coming in. He did have a kind of a down year last year, but nothing like too bad. The whole Buffalo defense kind of let him down last year.
Yeah.
So going out there and doing it, but this is what the Raiders get out of it, right? Like, I don't understand why people would hate on this move. The Raiders didn't give up anything but a couple draft spots, right? All they did was drop down the draft a couple spots. Wow, big deal in the back of the end of the draft. They would have probably done that anyways come draft day.
Yeah.
So you get a leader, right? You get somebody who's a veteran leadership that can go in there and on that secondary. You get a versatile player that can move around the defense, a slot. He's good against the run, and if it doesn't work out, guess what? You owe him absolutely nothing. There's no guaranteed money on his contract.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to pay him that money. But, look, we're basically paying him the money that Geno would have made. So that $8.5 million that we're saving with Geno, it's going to Terron Johnson. And if it doesn't work out, then we just save the money and we get the money back. But there's no guaranteed money in his contract. So,
yeah, especially after this year,
one of those low risk, high rewards. And if you actually look at this guy and you see what he was, and then I don't know if you saw the video with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers gave him high praise.
Highly of him. Yep, I seen that one.
So it's for a team like us that actually has absolutely no depth and absolutely no veteran leadership. This is a very good move, and for nothing. Some people. This is what people argue. Right? They'll go, "Well, the Bills were going to release him. We could have just got him for free. Like we basically did. We just don't have to fight with other teams for him in the free agent market. We guaranteed him on our team."
And that's the thing that you do when you know a team is going to release somebody, and that's why we talked about Geno Smith. I talked about him. I say, if a team really wants to bring him in and without having to fight with other teams, then you could just trade a late round pick and just get it done with. And the Raiders did that, and they're bringing experience to the cornerback room. And if there's any position on this team that needs an overhaul, it's definitely that cornerback room. So I think he's a solid addition. If it works out, it works out. He is a former second team All Pro, and has done a great job. Against the run and in coverage as well. So, you add him to this team. I don't think it's a horrible move at all. It's just a solid move. And I thought it was a perfect start right before free agency, right? The Raiders are making moves to help this team out and, help bolster up this team and build for the future. And I think that Terron Johnson was definitely a solid addition to this team. Shout out to Accelerator though for the $2 donation. He said it's Sami Zayn. I mean, Joe Morley. Basically, the honorary is Joe Morley. He looks just like Sami Zayn, man.
I'm getting there. I'm trying. I just need to grow it out just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. It's the hair. That's the only difference. That's the only difference. That's the only difference that we got over here. But Raider Nation, man. Shout out to the chat, man. You guys definitely been showing out, man. A lot of people saying good morning. People saying, hey, somebody said that this is their favorite morning show, and I appreciate that. Oh, Raider Diaz said that. Like I said, we're gonna be going live every day, and then what happened?
It's either watch us or Kay Adams, and she's a Raider hater. So,
but yeah, okay. See, I saw people talking about it. We're gonna get into free agency though, in a little bit though. But I really want to ask you this. I really want to touch upon this. It's the whole Maxx Crosby thing, right? Because I know we went live. I went live right when the news broke out. I ain't gonna lie, I got hella emotional. I definitely got emotional during that whole thing. So, there was a lot going on that live stream. But, after a couple of days of sitting here and thinking about the trade, man, the Raiders really, really did a great job. And shout out to Clint Kubiak, shout out to John Spicek for making a huge move like that while also getting something great in return. I think it was a win-win for both teams. But at the end of the day, the biggest question, the only thing that will make this move a great move or a bad move is what the Raiders are going to do with the salary cap. And also the draft picks that we got in return after trading away Maxx Crosby and that number 14th pick. I've been seeing all over Twitter, all over social media who the Raiders should get. And the consensus number one guy that everybody's been saying has either been Mekhi Lemon or Ioane. getting Ioane on the offensive line. And those are two realistic people that could sit there at number 14. Now, there's a lot of other players that could sit there as well, but Raider Nation is either getting a number one wide receiver or going offensive line, and that's the two positions. I mean, you could go defense as well, but Joe, first of all, after sitting for a couple of days, how do you feel about the Maxx Crosby news? And if you were picking at number 14, what would you want to address as it sits right now? Because I know with free agency, a lot of things can change. But as it sits right now before free agency, what position would you want to address? Or is there a certain player that you would want to bring in at number 14?
Well, first of all, shout out to James Russell, because you can't just do that and not give him the love right now.
Oh, come on, man. Okay, shout out to James Zeus. You don't have to do that, Zeus. Man, but James has been looking out every time, man. Every time he comes in the chat, man. Shout out to James Russell for the $100 donation to Benjamin. Man, don't worry, Zeus. I'll make sure that money gets over to John Spytek, and maybe we could bring in the next free agent. But hey, shout out to my Zeus, James Russell. I got hit it one time for the one time, Zeus. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So James is probably feeling it, going through it right now. I mean, that's everybody in Raider Nation felt it, and then we talked about it for weeks, right? We could talk about Maxx Crosby's apartment. Sure, we were never ready for it until it actually happened, because in the back of our mind, everybody hoped that Max would work it out, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at the compensation package, and hey, it's been a couple days, so now emotions have kind of gone away, and people have started to actually see the deal as it is. We ripped the Ravens off. To be honest with you, it's a very good deal for the Las Vegas Raiders to get 2 first-round picks, and nobody else was giving it up. And if you look at the history of players that have been traded for 2 first-round picks, or teams that have traded 2 first-round picks for players, there's been like 15 players in NFL history done, and only the Rams with Jalen Ramsey and Matthew Stafford have actually reached the Super Bowl and done something with it. So history is not on the Ravens side on this part. Now, Raider fans, we are upset, right? Because we don't have that draft history. We don't have the history to look back and go, we'd make right decisions. We are going to take these picks and go in the right direction. And I understand that. So that's the frustration. But I go back to Clint Kubiak's introductory press conference, where he talked about where they know they haven't got the job done in this building. The Raiders know that we have sucked and we have a bad history, and they want to prove it to us. And then they're not going to promise anything, but they want to prove it. So that's why I kind of feel like it's going to be different. Now with the number 14 overall pick, we already talked about having the number 1 overall pick. We dictate this draft. Now this is crazy. I don't think people look at it and go 1 in 14. That is amazing. Like, you weren't getting much better than a number 14 overall pick for Maxx Crosby, and having 1 in 14 is better than having 8 and 9, if you think about it. So you're gonna get your number 1 quarterback, what your Raiders need in Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
And now you have 10 other draft picks, because the Raiders have 11. One's going to go to Fernando. Now you have 10 other draft picks, and you have number 14. So you can play the board. If you want to move up and you want to go after an edge guy, one of the top, I don't know, David Bailey, whoever you want to go after, you can move up, and you could do like the Texans did a couple years ago, and get your pass rusher. You can move down, and you can acquire more picks, because what if somebody falls to number 14 and now somebody from the 20 wants to move up and they're willing to give up more draft picks for next year? Now we have 3 first-round picks next year. Or you can stay put, and like you said, some of the best cornerbacks, like you probably have your pick of cornerbacks, you'll have your pick of offensive linemen right there, you'll have your pick of wide receivers. So sitting at 14 is a very good spot for the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, last time you saw what happened when we set at 13, when we just went best available player, Brock Bowers fell to us.
Yeah. And yeah, I do believe that there's going to be somebody that falls at that spot, and the Raiders could select them, and it could be somebody that nobody expected to be there, right? But for me, like, I honestly think that the Maxx Crosby trade was great for both teams. I don't think one outweighed the other, because it was a huge need for for the Baltimore Ravens, and the Raiders and the Ravens are in two different categories right now as far as needing those draft picks or whatnot. The Raiders are building for the future, right? So we need those first round picks, and that 14th overall pick definitely is a huge deal. Now I know that there were other players there were other teams reportedly looking to give up 2 first round picks as well. The Bears was ready to do that, but knowing that the Ravens were at 12 and the Bears was at 25, I think it made a lot more sense for the Raiders to go with the Ravens. And I seen another report where the Cowboys are trying to offer a first and a second and also Ozigba, right? But I was like, nah. Unless they turn it into 2 firsts, then I don't want it. But I think there was a lot. I do believe that Maxx Crosby is still a valuable player, and one of the biggest weaknesses or weaker rooms for the Baltimore Ravens was their edge position, especially trying to stop the run and the pass. So, and the pass rush. So, and Maxx Crosby fills that need though. But as far as it is going into the NFL draft, man, the Raiders got a lot of power this offseason. And that's something that I will give a lot of credit to this regime, is that they've made all the right moves to put the Raiders in position to at least build a successful team this year. Now, I'm not saying that the Raiders are going to go into the playoffs and fight for a Super Bowl right out the gate, but we put ourselves in a good position to be better than we were last year. And I could see the Raiders making all the right moves, if so, winning 7, 8, 9 games at most, but looking really competitive, especially when you're trying to build a team around the quarterback position. I know that
like somebody just said right now, we're getting 2 of the top 14 players in the draft. So
that's crazy. And you think of and I thought about the Jets picks, right? The Jets were like 2 and 16, but we got 1 and 14, which is like 2 better picks than what the Jets got. And I'm like, man, the Raiders could do a lot. The Raiders could do a lot. And
hey,
I know, what happened?
What if Caleb downfalls?
But
what if Caleb downfalls?
He's a guy that I don't put out the realm of possibility of falling. Caleb Downs could fall. Spencer Fano can fall. Like one of these top 10. There's always going to be a top 10 player that everybody expects to be in the top 10 that's going to fall to that spot. And that's why I'm like, okay, 14th is huge. You could go wide receiver. If you want to get Mekhi Lemon, go ahead. If Jordan Tyson falls as well, you could get him if you want the wide receiver position. There's going to be an offensive lineman that's going to be there. And Olaiva Venga is definitely one of my favorite guys to get at that position, as well as going out and getting Caleb Lomu or like, this is the time, Moose. Remember, you've been pounding the table for an offensive lineman and building the offensive line in the trenches, and the Raiders are in a perfect position in free agency today to go get an offensive lineman, to build the offensive line, and also in the NFL draft to add a young offensive lineman. We know Colt Miller is not getting any younger, so maybe you got to look for the future at that position. I know a lot of people are high on Mekhi Lemon. I wouldn't mind Mekhi Lemon. He's not my number 1 choice at number 14, but I am a little biased when it comes to the poly, Zeus. So that's just me. That's why all the offensive linemen, there's a lot of polys. Mekhi Lemon is poly as well. So if we could get one of those guys, I'm totally fine with it. It's kind of funny how a lot of people are saying we need to go get a number 1 wide receiver. And this year, we can do that. And last year I wanted a number 1 wide receiver, but everybody said that he doesn't like the game of football because he doesn't watch film. And then this year, everybody's saying that Mekhi Lemon is not good because because he's crazy in his interviews. But that's besides the point though. Shout out to Lash for the 199. Says good morning, Oos and Joe, Raider Nation for life, love, family. Tracy, California, man. I appreciate it, Lash, man. Appreciate it. Don't be surprised if Spytek trades back at 14 a few spots. Hey, and that's what you can do.
That's what I'm expecting.
Oos, I want to ask you this because I was messing around with mock draft suits. What if we bust a Houston Texan, and we trade up into the top 5, and maybe Ruben Bain is there, or Arvell Reese?
Alligator arms.
Maybe even not him, but what if we go up and try to get Sonny Styles?
Yeah.
Like the Raiders can do it if they want to go get the quarterback of the future for the offense side of the ball and get the defensive player for the future of the Raiders. I mean, we could give up a first and second if we want to move up that high in the draft, but we don't have to do that. We could move back, move forward, or just stick there and just go out and get who we need to get. But that being said,
there's only one interior offensive lineman that has a first round grade in this draft. And how do you say his name? Joanna?
Who?
Is
Oh, interior offensive lineman.
yeah,
Oliva
he's the only
Venga.
one.
Yeah. Oliva Venga Ioane from Penn State.
So he's the only one that is a first round grade for interior offensive lineman. So if you're looking for an interior offensive lineman, that's your guy at number 14. But I've done we did a mock draft before Maxx Crosby was traded, and I think we traded number 12. So we were like right in this, we were close to it, and we
Yeah.
were like, let's just play around. I think if you do enough mock drafts and you see it and you look at it, at number 14, like you said, yeah, we can move all the way up because we have the draft capitals now, and hell, if we want to spend the first round pick that we're getting next year from Baltimore, and we can use that as collateral and move up, then we do it. But I have a feeling like doing mock drafts, I get the number 14, and I'm sitting there and I go, there's a lot of good players still on the board, and I don't see why the Raiders wouldn't try to find a trade partner and just move back and just continue to add draft capital to our team, because when you look at it, we have absolutely no depth on this team or on the roster from the last couple of years, and you get to bring in your guys. And how do good teams continue to stay good? They always use the draft and continue to get draft capital and keep building for the future. That's how the Patriots did it when they were doing it. That's how the Chiefs do it. You always take your drafts, and if you're dropping 3 or 4 spots and collecting a third or fourth round pick, those add up over time.
Yeah. And like I said, the powers are in the Raiders' hands, and they could do something crazy. They definitely could do something crazy this year in the draft. But it all starts today. It all starts today in free agency. One more thing I do want to add before we get into free agency, right? Speaking of players getting traded, a player that got put on the trade block, reportedly, Jaylen Carter. And I've seen a lot of Raider fans talking about Jaylen Carter and possibly trading for him. I know he was somebody that was talked about in the Eagles trade, trade scenario. But if he is really available, would you trade a first round pick for Jaylen Carter?
No, I wouldn't. I know a lot, because what's the point? Like, he's 25 years old, but I'm not getting. I've always said I'm not building my team around the defensive line. Like, I'm sorry, the league has moved over, and you just traded Maxx Crosby, and then you're going to go and trade for a first rounder for a defensive lineman. I understand defense. You need defense to win championships, but the league has also moved to an offensive type, and you're moving to an offensive type of team. So I'm not doing it. And I don't think Jaylen Carter is going to get the big return that everybody thinks he's going to get, because a lot of people have questions about his character and other stuff that go along with it. And Jaylen Carter is not a Maxx Crosby elite player. He's not even a Leonard Williams type player. Like, not Leonard Williams, Quinnen Williams, the guy who got traded from the Jets last year. Like, he's not at that level. Jaylen Carter was a ninth overall pick, so first round pick, which puts him up there, and he's good talent. He's good, a great player.
Yeah,
but just because you're a great player doesn't guarantee that you get first round compensation.
Yeah,
I see
don't
Jaylen Carter going for a third round pick. That's just me personally. I see him going for cheaper. So I don't understand it. And then the teams that trade for Jaylen Carter, guess what he wants? He wants $30 million contract. So are you willing to give Jaylen Carter that contract as well? And I don't know. I would like him. I think it would have been nice, and I think a lot of Raider fans are attached to him because of how bad Tyree Wilson has done, and we're like looking like, damn.
Tyree Wilson's getting better though, right? Tyree Wilson's getting a little bit better, right?
Well, he should be better in this 3-4 system as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that's the main thing is Raider fans are more attached to Jaylen Carter because we think about what could have been instead of like looking at actually who he is. You got to remember, Jaylen Carter missed a couple games this year too, and most of that was just because of stupidity. Like when you spit on somebody right before the game, 2 seconds, 2 minutes before the game starts, and you get ejected, is that helping your team? Like, no.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's something that, like, great player on the field, and it's just wondering what will happen off the field. The off the field things are the things that worry me. Even some stuff on the field, like you said, the spitting in the first game of the season, you just never know with him. But when he plays, great player, and it would be a huge addition to this team. I wouldn't be willing to give up a first round pick this year or next year. If we're looking at it, maybe second, maybe third round pick around that, I'll be okay with that. But at this point, I'd rather go build it and bring guys in that we draft But that being said, it was going into free agency. There's a lot of players to look at. And of course, I know the Raiders have been linked to a lot of different names: Tyler Linderbaum, Rashid Shaheed, Alec Pierce, Odafe Away. The list goes on and on and on, right? And something that's new, according to Tom Pelissero, is that teams can now conduct a 1 hour video/phone call with up to 5 free agents in the negotiation window, allowing players to communicate directly with coaches before signing a deal. Before that, I didn't know that before that they only spoke to the agent and whatnot and got a deal done through them before even talking to coaches and whatnot. But what is your thoughts on that? And do you think that helps out the free agency and whatnot, especially when you're talking to players? Because I feel like you're now giving, Clint Kubiak, John Spytek, some time to at least speak to these guys face to face and maybe lure them over to Las Vegas and at least tell them the plan that we have moving forward, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it really changes much. Like, we already know there's negotiations before the negotiation window, so
Yeah.
maybe it's cool that you could like show them around and you can walk around with FaceTime and do all that stuff and maybe introduce them a little bit more and make the free agent feel a little bit more comfortable. But I don't think it really changes much. I
Yeah.
don't think it does much. Like this year, you've already heard like the NFL people have already talked on shows. I was watching TV last night and I was watching Adam Scheffler talk, and he was like, the Cowboys tried to trade for Maxx Crosby. He goes, then that didn't work out. So then, they checked in on Khalil Mack, who is a free agent, who's not even a free agent yet, right? He don't become a free agent. And I
Yeah.
go, how the hell did they check in on Khalil Mack if it's not open, if it's not tampering? That's tampering right there. And the tampering window's not open. And then they go, oh, then they're going to pivot to Trey Hendrickson or whatever. So I was like, and then you heard earlier this year about Brandon Aubrey's team talking to Packers. Like, teams are already out there. I don't, whatever your rules are, like, I don't know why we wait until March, like, to open up free agency. Just do it like baseball. As soon as the Super Bowl is over, free agency begins, or 5 days after. Like, just
Yeah.
they're already talking. What do you think the combine was for? The combine was for agents and everybody to get together and bullshit and talk, and they've been doing it since the end of the season.
Okay, I already have a feeling that people have been talking too. Especially like you brought up a good point with the NFL Combine. That being said, I know we've talked a lot. We've talked a lot about a lot of different free agents, right? And free agents that could come over, and some of our favorite free agents. Who is your top free agent if signed? Would you be happy with so far for the Raiders?
If the Raiders signed,
Yeah, your number one free agent, the guy that's on the market. We pay him, we get him over here, and you're already happy. We're off to a great start.
that's a tough one because there's a couple guys that I like, but I would say, damn, who would be my number one guy? Like
Okay, I'll let you think on
Quay
that.
Walker. Quay Walker.
Quay Walker's your number one. Okay.
I think because I want linebacker. Like I want a young. I think he's only 25, right? 25,
Yeah.
26. I want a young defensive linebacker or somebody that we can make a new captain on our team, and I want him to be our number one guy. Yeah. So I think Quay Walker will be the. I mean, him or Devin Lloyd would be the same, but I would probably go Quay Walker over Devin Lloyd either too. So yeah, that's probably my number one free agent that I want to see the Raiders sign.
Okay. I would say that my number one free agent is definitely Mr. $30 million himself. Alec Pierce, baby. Bring him over here to Las Vegas, man. I'm going to keep pounding the table for him. I know that the Raiders are interested. I know that the asking price, some people are saying 27 mil, but the way it's looking, like it could go upwards of 30 mil. I know I sound crazy, but we get a wide receiver right now. We don't have to worry about it in the draft, but I could get at me, man. It is what it is. But Alec Pierce, I've said it before. I just think that he'd be a perfect wide receiver one over here. He hasn't been given a chance to be a wide receiver one with the quarterback that he's been playing, but he's had the ability to stretch the field, and somebody that I think would build a great rapport with Fernando Mendoza over here. And being that deep ball, that go getter, I'd be down to bring Alec Pierce. After that, whatever happens, I'd be like, okay, the Raiders are they mean business, and they definitely want to give Fernando Mendoza all the best weapons that they can have. But I know for a lot of people, shout out to the chat. I know a lot of Raider fans want Tyler Linderbaum. I think if you get Tyler Linderbaum, I think would be huge for this team, especially for the offensive line. I'm one of those guys that's like, we don't have to get Tyler Linderbaum to have a successful offensive line, but he is the top name. He's the top interior offensive lineman, and it would definitely bolster up this offensive line. But like I continue to say,
If you miss out on Linderbaum, which everybody wants, everybody hears that name and everybody's like Linderbaum, Linderbaum. They want to just take it down, right? But if you hear that name, like if the Raiders sign him, great. It's a great start to our
yeah,
fixing our offensive line. If they don't, there's other offensive linemen out there that are or right below him or right good enough that we can get him for a lot cheaper. And if you miss out on some of these linebackers, there's not there's a big difference in the gap between those guys. So yeah, and like you said, Alec Pierce, your favorite guy, you know why he's getting paid $30 million? Because there's no other wide receivers on the market. Like this is a down wide receiver market, and somebody's going to overpay for Alec Pierce just because of the need. Like, and that's the sad thing about it. Are we going to be the team that overpays for him? Maybe,
yeah,
but would
yeah.
you rather get uh, um, what's his name? This guy from Seattle that everybody wants, Shaheed and Jawan Jennings, and you could probably get them for the same price as
Yeah,
Alec Pierce, both of them
yeah.
combined.
I feel like Juwan Jennings is gonna get more than we expect, but I think you're right. You could get two wide receivers for the price of one. Rashid Shaheed, I if the coaching staff really wants him, okay. But if his value is just with return, in the return game, then okay. But as far as playing in the game, I continue to say this: we got Rashid Shaheed at home. We got Trey Tucker. I'm not really worried about bringing him in or whatnot. But if he comes, he comes. If pause. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. As far as Tyler Linderbaum, shout out to Casanova. I know he's been one guy that's been huge on Tyler Linderbaum. I mean, a lot of Red fans, so it's not just him. But yeah, if he was to come over here, it would definitely make fixing the offensive line much easier because then we keep JPJ at guard, and then we just got to find two more positions or two more players to fill in the two other spots that are available. But if we don't get him, the backup plan is JPJ going to center, and that's not really that bad. And I know a lot of people are going just off of last year. Oh, he didn't really play center, and he's not the greatest center. But I think put in the right situation, JPJ could be what Tyler Linderbaum is right now, just given the right situation and circumstances, and having the right offensive line coach. A lot of things go into that, and then we could fill in. But good thing for the Raiders, like I said, I know you talk about the linebacker position. We talk about the offensive line position. There's a lot of players in free agency and the NFL draft to address both spots. So, like, if the Raiders do hit and get one of these guys, so be it. If not, it's not the end of the world. But I just hope that the Raiders, and I hope that John Spytek doesn't play. I hope they don't play the. Oh, let's be cheap this year, right? I don't want to see Coupon John this year. I want to see him pay the big bucks to players that we know can help this team for the future, and especially fill in positions of need. And especially after you traded away Maxx Crosby, you better have a good replacement for him. Whether it's going out and getting Odafe Way, whether it's going out and getting Jalen Phillips, any one of these guys, and then adding more players in the NFL draft. There's definitely a lot of directions that the Raiders can go in when it comes to that.
But the Raiders can't. The Raiders can't be cheap this year. They can't. By NFL rules, they can't. They have to spend 90% of the salary cap in 3 years. And the Raiders, the last 2 years, have been really cheap with it. And so this year, the Raiders have $121 million in cap space. They have to spend $100 million of it. They have to. Or else they fall in subject to breaking NFL rules. So the Raiders have to go out there and give the money. That's why that's why making that deal for Terron Johnson was like, okay, cool. That's $8 million that we don't have to worry about spending. It's already there. So for people that say, like, are the Raiders going to be active? Hell yeah, they're going to be active. That's why I said they're going to probably go out there and sign.
They better be active. Yeah.
Players. And that's why I don't see them getting Linderbaum and Alec Pierce, maybe one of them, but I don't see them going out there and spend. I mean, they have the money. They have to spend the money, but $50 million on two players, I don't know if they do that. Maybe one of them, and that helps them continue to move that in that direction. But if for the people that want Alec Pierce like you, so if you take Alec Pierce, are you drafting a wide receiver in the first round at number 14 still?
Nope.
Probably not.
Nope.
So that's going to change your whole. But this is what I want from free agency. This is what I want to see over the next couple of days from the Raiders. Is I want the Raiders to give us enough depth or fill enough holes that when we get to the draft, we're not looking for need. We're looking for best available player, and we're just going. And it's going to make the draft a lot more easier for Spytek if he can fill some of these right here. But yeah, I mean, I just saw right now Linderbaum's asking for $25 million, which would be what, $5 million more than the top center in the league right now. Is that what it is? Like, yeah, Creed Humphrey is your top paid center. He's the Chiefs. He makes $18 million annually, and Linderbaum is going to beat that by $7 million. Is what they're saying. So that's the two guys that I talked about, the one that just signed with the Chargers and stuff like that, they only went for like 10 to 13 million. So that was kind of like, damn, like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, we have money to spend. The Raiders have a lot of money to spend. Doesn't mean we need to spend it irresponsibly. And we need to find the right guys and spend it correctly over the next couple of years. But that's what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
I know we get stuck on big names. So I hope everybody who's rooting for Tyler Linderbaum, I hope we get him. But it's not the end of the world if we don't get him. Like, that's what I think. We set ourselves up for too much expectations, and we only rely on one guy without looking at the whole free agent marketing. Like, oh, we failed because we didn't get him. Like you said, Tyler Linderbaum is the number one free agent. Every team out there wants him. Does he want to go to a rebuilding team? Is he, money talks, right? Money talks.
But do you think with all these other teams kind of filling in their position now, it makes the market a little bit smaller for Tyler Linderbaum, right? It makes it easier for the Raiders to swoop him in, right? To
Yeah,
swoop in and get him.
but he can move right down the street. Playing in Baltimore, he can move right down the street and go to Washington and be with Jaden Daniels, and maybe he feels that that's an easier win. He can go up to New York, which is like what, 2 hours up the street, or 3 hours up the street, 4 hours up the street. I don't know how it goes in New York.
Yeah.
You go up there, and then now you're with your coach from last year, and you're with Jackson Dart. Or you can come all the way to the West Coast, and you can play for the Raiders and have no state income tax, and show, be with the guy who just won the Super Bowl, and be with one of the greatest quarterbacks in the. Like, the Raiders will have to sell themselves, and they'll have to overpay just a little bit more, but you're getting a 25-year-old guy that comes along with your rookie quarterback that can make the calls at the line of scrimmage. So, I mean, if you're going to overpay for somebody, you overpay for Tyler Linderbaum. You don't overpay for Alec Pierce.
You never know. You never know. You definitely don't know. Zachary asks a good question. What happens if they don't spend that money? If they don't spend that 90% that they need to?
I think you would be subject to fines and then maybe loss of draft picks. I don't know. I don't think anybody's ever done it. To be honest with you. But yeah,
it's not a hard thing. It's not that hard.
But it's a collective bargaining thing, so that you're messing with a big thing, which is like you're messing with the players' union and the NFL. So
yeah,
it would be a big thing. And always being the first one to break the rules, sometimes they make you the example. So
yeah. People are asking about Romeo Dobbs. That's another name that could be out there that the Raiders could bring in. Watch us resign Andre James. I mean, he wasn't a bad center. Oh yeah, no, that wasn't recent though. Okay, I was just trying to check on some news and stuff like that, but yeah, nothing. I feel like the crazy thing is, like, us Raider fans, with all the money that we have, right? We're all expecting the Raiders to go out there and just spend big, but we've learned over the past couple of years that the Raiders usually are pretty silent on day one, or as far as the day one tampering period, and then they start getting the deals done Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But I do hope that they do bring in somebody to get the Raider Nation hype. But the Raiders have done a great job at bringing in guys and making moves to make the Raider fans just excited about the future of this team for sure. Now, let me see. Okay, no, okay, but but what one guy that is no longer with the team that is looking to head to Miami is Geno Smith, and I feel like Geno Smith, after the whole thing that went down, it's kind of crazy to see that, he still has a wide market for him to be a quarterback, and him wanting to go to the Dolphins. Do you think that would work out for him or no?
I mean, it's going to work out for the Dolphins if they want to have a good draft pick next year. But Geno going to the Dolphins is basically what he did this year coming to the Raiders. Like, the Dolphins are trading off all their assets. It looks like they're giving up everything that they have right now, and they're looking forward to next season. And so, yeah, the Dolphins are going, hey, it worked out for the Raiders. It could work out for us. And they're going to get them for cheap league minimum. Why? Because the Raiders are paying them. Like, I think you can get you're going to pay Geno Smith $1.5 million.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true because we are paid that money. Dang. As far like, oh, it looks like Tua might be going to.
Oh, so there you go. So that somebody found the what happens if it does it according to ChatGPT. So they give the players that were on the roster a short fine. So you give the Raiders, whoever's on the Raiders roster will get the rest of the money. So you divvy it up. That's fuck.
Yeah.
Hey, if I'm on the Raiders, I'm like, don't spend it then.
Yeah, they're probably like, oh hell no, bro. They're probably like, oh hells no.
Yeah, 90% is the salary floor, and we're not at the floor. So, hey, that's a yeah. I mean, I guess if you're on the Raiders, you'll be happy. Would you be happy if you're on the Raiders and you get extra money, but your team didn't go out there and sign people? Like they didn't invest in the team.
Sure, it depends on which player you are. If you're somebody that's lower on the depth chart, you're like, hell yeah, Bram, give me that money. But if you're like one of the top guys that's looking for help, if we have Maxx Crosby on this team, and he's like, go get me some help, and we don't get nobody, then I think that's where it would hit more.
And maybe that's the because he said there's no fine or no loss of draft picks. So maybe that's the rule right now because nobody has really like tested it out. But I'm sure if you continue to not do it and they continue to do it, they're gonna fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody make a rule about it. But I mean, shit, like you said, if I'm making league minimum and you go, hey, here's another, $2,000, $3,000 or whatever, I'm like, thank you, I'll take your shit.
Yeah.
But that's okay. So going back to the Maxx Crosby trade that nobody wants to talk about, but we'll talk about it a little bit. That's what makes the Maxx Crosby trade so good for the Raiders is there is no expectations. It is a true rebuild, and you don't have a timeline where you're trying to help veterans out. You basically have a clean slate from here on out of going, okay, here's our young players. And that's why I know a lot of people are looking at the free agent market and they're like, we want Trey Hendrickson. I go, so we would trade Max because he's old, but we'll get Trey Hendrickson. Like that doesn't make sense to me. So that's why I expect the Raiders to target young players 27 and under in the free agent market, at least in this rebuild, because they see it as a couple years. But
it's been like a couple years to turn around. But at least they're not forced to try to win right now, which they've been doing for the past couple of years in the past couple of regimes. And shout out to Maxx Crosby. Did you actually watch his not his apology video, but you watched his going away thank you video? I think it really hit home for a lot of people, man.
Fuck no, I didn't watch that shit.
Oh, you a hater, bro.
Why would I watch it? He don't want to be a Raider. Why am I gonna? For what?
So he's saying thank you to the Raider Nation, man.
The guy had a platform for 3 months where they asked him every day if he wanted to be a Raider, and he could have said this apology 3 months ago, and now he wants to give me some bullshit.
Oh, but can't you respect that though? Like because he didn't want to come out and publicly put that out there. It also was a leveraging tool for the Raiders. Him not saying anything basically got the Raiders what they wanted, because if everybody knew for sure that he was going to leave, I mean, everybody had a notion, right? Everybody had a feeling, but it wasn't a for sure thing yet. But the fact that it wasn't a for sure thing, maybe that helped divvy up people to go a little bit closer to the asking price. So I think it kind of helped out more than it didn't.
I understand that. And cool, good for him. But you still wanted out. Like you still didn't want to be a Raider, and now you want to give me an apology about like I want to be a Raider for life. Nah,
come on, Oos.
Jerk somebody else off.
Come on, Oos.
But go ahead.
Don't talk like you wouldn't get jerked off by Maxx Crosby, Oos.
Not with those hands and make my.
Yo, chill, bro. Chill. Joe sounding like Josh right now, man. But this is something that, like, shout out to my Oos Max. Got a lot of love for him, man. I love the video though. It was just this thing I didn't understand.
Block Nation. Block Nation.
Block Nation. Like what the hell? Oh,
Oos. You know better, Oos. Max. You know better than that, man. I don't know why. You said what you said, but I was watching the whole video, so I was just like, damn, this is a heart touching video. And I was like, man, this is a real Raider for life right here. Because he even said that at the end of it all, he wants to come back and at least retire a Raider, have one more stint with the Raiders before he goes. I was like, okay, that's my oos.
Hey,
And
look, I'll tell you what.
then he said, Flock Nation. I said, come on, man.
You can do the Raider for life bullshit. You can do all that stuff after we get our trade compensation next year. This year, I hope the Ravens suck ass, and I hope they lose and not make the playoffs, and then we get a better draft pick. After that, after we have no ties to it, you can go do whatever you want.
I think for me, yeah, I can agree with that too. I hope the Ravens do suck, but I hope that Maxx Crosby has an All-Pro season at 2 different positions, as Defensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl champ. Oh no, never mind. He can't be Super Bowl champ without. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, not this year. Yeah, not this year. No, I want them to. I want him to at least succeed, but the Ravens be sorry though. Yeah, that kind of that'll be like the Raiders.
Max can have a personal, like Max can have a personal career year, but you want the Ravens to suck. Yeah, yeah.
That's what you call Maxx Crosby on the Raiders.
And then after we get our draft pick and it's all settled, then we could talk about Max coming back, and we could talk about letting them light the torch, and we could talk about being a Raider forever. But for this year, no, go out there and lose and don't get anything, and then we'll talk about it after the draft pick settled.
Kahalua Sangale 85. Okay, I hope I said it right. It says, Joe, quit being a hater, man. Gotta respect Max. He gave more to this team than any other Raider since he's been here.
Not more than Derek Carr.
Facts.
I didn't see Max crying in interviews afterwards.
Huh? Oh, man. Come on, man. Derek Carr was only here for how many years since Max was here? I still think that Max put on more than Derek Carr since 2019, though.
Hey, but how the team do with Max without Derek Carr? Worse?
Oh, yeah, true. Oh, let's sound the alarms. Tampering period has officially opened.
Oh, man, where's my little... Dang it. But one day I don't have props. Damn it.
Look at JoJo over here. That's what you get for talking shit about Max, bro.
I'm not prepared for it.
Talking about my great Max, dog.
Oh, here it is. All right, hold on.
Oh, shit.
Woo! Woo!
Oh, shit. Not the strobing lights, Susan. It has officially begun. The Raiders are going to do absolutely nothing.
But he did say, and I did read it earlier, that the Raiders were trying to make a push for Eric Stokes.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I'm going to read. According to reports, it has been said. Oh, shoot. Okay. I don't know why I can never get this thing.
Okay, breaking news. Maxx Crosby's barber said the Raiders aren't going to be players in the free agent market. So if you know, you know what's going to happen.
What's up, Joe? Joe just being petty because Max didn't like him, man.
Well, yeah, call me. I'm talking about Maxx Crosby. Maxx Crosby don't want to be here. He's not going to be the face of the franchise. And then Max goes, "You're uneducated on this situation." Apparently, I wasn't. Apparently, I knew, right, Max?
Anywho, moving on. We got some news on Eric Stokes. According to Matt Zeditz, the Raiders have continued to push and try to re-sign cornerback Eric Stokes and have seemingly made progress as they attempt to keep him, sources tell CBS Sports. The former first-round pick was a starter for Vegas last year in his first season with the Raiders, in which he had himself a year. So it looks like the Raiders are trying to get the job done. The Raiders are trying to make a move right now to bring him back. And I think a lot of Raider fans, including yourself, myself, would not mind bringing back Eric Stokes, especially after you added somebody like Terron Johnson to the secondary room. I think this will definitely be huge. So shout out to Eric Stokes. I think a lot of Raider fans in the chat would like to have him back too. I gave the Raiders a lot. I didn't get paid like man. So it's All Raider fans should be more positive now than in the last 25 years. I think so. I definitely think so. Some other breaking news. My cousin Tua Tagovailoa will be taking his talents to the Atlanta Falcons. They're expected to make a strong push, and a deal could come together today. There has been mutual interest, and with Atlanta potentially needing a veteran with starting experience, Tua is likely it. Watch the Falcons go on a huge run next year with Tua Tagovailoa, and I'm gonna be telling everybody the Raiders should have got him, but it is what it is. Oh, we got news.
Alec Pierce goes back to the Colts for 4 years, $116 million.
Where'd you see that at?
Per Pat McAfee and Adam Scheffler.
Hold up. No.
So Alec Pierce is off the market.
No.
So what's 114 million for 4 years? What is that? 30.
116. You mean? This is 116.
Yeah, my bad.
Look at me, bring out the calculator, bro. 4 years?
Yeah.
$29 million. $29 million. Breaking news right out the gate. Alec Pierce is off the market. The Raiders took a big fat L already. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Damn, man. Okay, here. Oh, see, I could have just did that, dummy. Okay, so breaking news. Shout out to Joe for breaking the news, though. According to Adam Schefter, Indy lands its top target. Free agent wide receiver Alec Pierce is returning to the Colts with a 4-year, $116 million deal, which is $29 million per year. Right out the gate swinging and taking out the top receiver. And it is what it is. It is what it is. Look at it. I already took an L. I said that he was somebody I wanted. He is the highest paid free agent wide receiver in NFL history. I don't think so.
Is that what it is?
No.
It might be because most of the wide receivers sign most of the time you don't let a young wide receiver like this on the market. It could be because most of the big time receivers get extensions. So like Devontae Adams, when he got his $30 million, is because he was already on a team. It wasn't free agency.
Oh.
So yeah, it could be right. You know how I like to troll a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know. Yeah. Graphic Raider tweeted out. This is when this tweet started it all, and he put a tweet that he made in October, and he said, "If the Ravens fumble Tyler Linderbaum this offseason, and the Raiders will break the bank for him, you keep JPJ at guard," and basically went on there. And I said, "Damn! Imagine if Graphic didn't tweet this. Linderbaum would never been a free agent this year." So, I want to thank Graphic right now for making Linderbaum a free agent and giving us hope this offseason.
Hey, you got holding out for the nation, man. Holding it down for the nation. It was shout out to my Oos, man.
Hey, like if we were not like I had a guy DM me 2 days ago, and he goes, "Who else are you and your cronies?" And he calls Raider content creators cronies. Who else are you and your cronies going to chase after out of town now that Maxx is gone? Like we were the ones that benched Maxx for the last 2 games of the season. Like we were the ones that lost all these games the last couple of seasons, and we were the ones that had influence over Maxx leaving. So it's just funny some of the stuff that we get blamed for.
Yeah,
or we take credit for, right?
Or we take credit for it.
So if it's good, like if the Raiders start winning, it's because we brought these guys in here. But if we lose, we chase them out of here. So
yeah. But going back to JC's point is, he is the highest paid free agent wide receiver in NFL history. I think Stephon Diggs last year was around 22, 23 mil. So, yeah, definitely a huge move. Takes Alec Pierce out the runnings. It is what it is, but this only means the domino effect is going to fall. Raiders are going to move on to the next target. I think that Rashid Shaheed should definitely be high on the Raiders list now. I mean, there's a lot of other people out there, but $29 million, man. I think the Raiders should have got it done for $30 million. But it is what it is. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, but it's more comfort. Like I think even if the Raiders offered you $30 million, if you're Alec Pierce, you get to go back to your home like for $1 million less. His brother just transferred to Purdue or whatever, like closer to him. Like there was a lot of stuff. He was basically he didn't want to leave Indianapolis. Like you don't really want to leave. I mean, he had Daniel Jones as his quarterback. Why would you want to leave that?
Oh, and you heard that Daniel Jones, they opened up their talks with 50 mil, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, but okay, like nope. I
Nope.
mean, they ripped the Giants off one time, so why not rip another team off with Daniel Jones? But now we're looking. But like you said, this is what the number 14 overall pick does for the Raiders. Is it allows us to not stress over losing out on Alec Pierce on the free agent market. It gives you that option that hey, okay, we didn't get it. Let's go to Plan B. Let's repivot and go here. And that's the good thing about having that draft capital like we do this year.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, Draymond Jones signs a 3-year, $39 million contract with the Patriots. Jones was with the Titans and Ravens last year, notching career highs in sacks and pressures. A big ad for Mike Vrabel. Damn. Okay, making moves, making $1 million moves.
Well, Patriots were in on the Maxx Crosby. They really wanted Maxx Crosby, and
Yeah,
Tom Brady
that's
said,
true.
"Yeah, I ain't doing that shit. I ain't
Yeah.
doing that." Like so, you got. I mean, it just shows you like pass rushers and edge rushers are all going out there and doing their thing. Somebody said Eric Stokes. So that means did we re-sign him?
They're in the verge of re-signing him, so that'd be.
And 49ers are now open to trading offensive tackle Trent Williams if the contract situation doesn't get resolved.
I thought they already released him. No.
No.
Ooh.
So 3 years. Eric Stokes, 3 years, $30 million. That's not you didn't overpay him. You paid him $10 million a season, $20 million guaranteed. That's not bad for Eric Stokes.
No, yeah. Ooh. What we think about what we think about Jelani Tavai? Just got released right now. Bring him over.
Eric Stokes I mean, I don't know why people are. It's because we're trying to get like Trent McDuffie, the top cornerback in the league, just got $31 million. And we were talking about how good Eric Stokes was last year. He was the top 20 cornerback. I think he was 16 overall according to PFF. So if you're looking at it, I mean, $10 million or whatever a year puts him. Shit, that puts him under Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs, crappy ass, got $12 million in Green Bay last year, and they don't like him over there no more.
They need to bring him back over here, man. We need him back. Stokes resigned.
That's actually a really good deal. That might be a hometown discount for Eric Stokes to come back to us.
Wait, they didn't resign him yet, though, right?
Yeah, everybody's saying.
Oh, let me look it up right here. Okay. Let's see. It'd be the first thing.
Our chat don't lie, okay?
Yep. Here we go. We got it. Per Jeremy Fowler. Let's bring it up, dog. The Raiders make their first move of the offseason, baby. Oh, wrong tab. Oh, come on now. There we go. So according to Jeremy Fowler, the Raiders have re-signed cornerback Eric Stokes on a 3-year, $30 million deal. That is $10 million per year. Big signing by the team, man. Shout out to Eric Stokes for getting a deal done. I mean, it was already imminent. A lot of fans wanted him back. He had a really solid year last year with the Raiders, especially coming over here on a 1-year prove-it deal. And it definitely worked out for the former first-round pick. Now he joins Terron Johnson. I think that our cornerback room right now is looking pretty good right now, though. But how are you feeling about the news officially coming out?
No, that's good. It's good to bring him back. And this is something that we've talked about. And like you said, it just makes our cornerback room even stronger going into the offseason. And we'll see how we continue to go with him, Porter, and now Johnson. Like
Yeah.
We could do assets other, and I'm not mad with the price tag. I think the price tag is right on there. Wasn't it like when we were doing the models? Wasn't it like more? Like, weren't you saying it was like 14 to 15 million
Yeah,
on the
that's what they said that they were trying to. Yeah, that's what they would have given them.
like somebody just said right here, 10 million for a starting quarterback is awesome. Yes, especially when the top cornerbacks are $31 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cornerbacks in the league make $20 million or more.
Yeah.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. This makes him the 25th highest paid cornerback in the league. Are you upset about that?
Hell no.
Hell
Hell no.
no.
We
Hell
brought back.
no.
I think we brought back the only free agent or Raider free agent that the Raiders were really interested in, right? I don't know if the Raiders are going to bring back Malcolm Koonce or any of these other jabronis, right? But I think Eric Stokes was definitely at the top of that list. You can't be mad at it. And I know, shout out to the chat. I know this is not official until wait, no, this could be official because it's right.
That one's official. Yeah.
Because it was with the team we're re-signing him. Yeah. So we're re-signing him. So I think it's a good splash for the Raiders. It's a solid move. We're slow but steady. But I think this was a great move to start off. Free agency, especially during the tampering period. He played in all 16 games last year, had 53 total tackles, 5 pass defense, and also completion percentage allowed 56.7. Now, he didn't have a lot of interceptions last year, but definitely ranked high in PFF and was considered a true shutdown corner for the Raiders last year in a year where, yeah, it was all over the place, right? So congratulations, Eric Stokes is back. Let's go, baby.
Very, very solid. Like, there you go. Making smart moves and cheap moves. Like, you didn't waste a lot of your money to, hey, 90 million to go. $90 million
Yeah.
to spend that we can go. But that's a smart move. And a future move. Like, giving him a 3-year deal shows that he's part of the rebuilding plan. Like, that's I don't see how we can get mad at it. Now we just got to get him some interceptions this year, and he'll be on top of the game.
He just got to catch the ball. That's all he got to do.
But that's why he's a DP. If he could catch the ball, he'd be on the other side of the ball. He'd be a wide receiver.
No, for sure. I think it was huge. Yeah, no. Okay, here's a good thing. Just 26 and coming off of his best year of his career. You got to like this. Good locker room guy. 2 for what it's worth. He posted a 73.5 PFF coverage grade, a 77.2 passer rating when targeted, and 12% forced incompletion rate when there was a lot of bad going on around him. So he definitely stood out in a time where, of course, the Raiders struggled last year. Definitely one of those highlights, one of the guys that definitely stood out and was worth the money that we paid him last year. And that's why he got paid to stay with the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders did make a lot of, cheap deals last year. You bringing in 1-year guys. I mean, we've seen it with Devin White breaking the record for the most tackles in the season for a linebacker. And, or I think overall, right? I don't know if it's just for a linebacker, but I could be wrong though.
Yeah.
But, you brought in Devin White on a 1-year deal. He balled out last year. We brought in Jamal Adams. He did his thing for a period of time. So, it's good to see a lot of these not young guys, but it's good to see that the Raiders made a lot of these moves and they're slowly panning out. But again, shout out to the Big Ooze. Eric Stokes on the huge deal. It's definitely the Raiders are definitely trending in the right direction right now.
So all the free agent cornerbacks on the market this year, Eric Stokes played the most snaps in every game. So he played an average of 62 snaps per game last year for the Raiders, which puts him at the top of that. But I mean, the guy who played the most is Taylor, the defensive back from the Saints. But in the 62 snaps or whatever, he had 53 tackles. He was targeted 58 times, only gave up 341 yards in that. It's right there. So, I mean, and you get him for $10 million a season. So, Raider fans, another good John Spytek move.
Let's go. Raider Nation, how we feeling about this move? Yes, sir. Just win, baby.
Yeah, you're because you're looking at it like, I know people can get upset, but you're looking at it as how much money are you guaranteeing a guy? Which $20 million, you basically are giving him a 2-year contract because that third year more than likely doesn't have it. So you're looking at what it would cost to cut a guy if it doesn't work out, and it ain't much. Like, uh, so I think it's a very very smart move. Like, this is what we need to continue to do. Like, deals like this is what we're looking for from Spytech in this regime right here.
Yeah, and like I know that there's some other cornerbacks that the Raiders could go out and address, right? And we still got Darian Porter here. Like I said before, we brought in Terron Johnson, and after that, it's kind of like all over the place. And the Raiders could still go out and get somebody like a Josh Jobe. They could still go out and if they want to spend a lot of money, bring in Tariq Woolen, or they could just stay pat and just go and draft a guy. But I think that this is a solid move for the Raiders starting out. I definitely do like it though.
Did you see that Travis Kelce is returning to the Kansas City
I
Chiefs?
seen that. I seen that. Travis
Does
Kelce's coming
that
back.
make you all happy?
He didn't want to end off. He didn't want to end off his career losing to the Raiders the way he did, man.
No, legal tampering period started at 12 o'clock Eastern, which is right now 9 o'clock
Yeah,
Pacific. So,
Pacific time. Yep.
so somebody was saying in the chat it doesn't start till 4. No, it started now.
Yeah, it's started now. That they're getting things done right now. And we'll probably go on for another 10 minutes and see if anything. Because there's some reports right now saying that Romeo Dobbs news should be coming out pretty soon. So we'll see. We'll
Well, yeah,
see.
you had to wait for the top guy to set the market, and now it makes all the other contracts easier after that.
No, most definitely. So yeah, like I said, it's a good start for the Raiders bringing in Eric Stokes. But I think from now on, I don't know if there's any other players that the Raiders are going to bring back. There might be, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, there's no other dying need to go out there and sign one of these guys and let the other guys test the market and then see what happens. I think the next best guy after Eric Stokes was Dylan Parham, and Raider Nation has a lot of mixed feelings over him.
And I don't think that Dylan Parham would be bad though. That's the thing. Like I just think that just like Geno Smith and everybody else, it just was like, what do you call it? I just don't think that he was put in the right position to succeed last year.
Yeah, it was just more the overall offense and coaching staff and everything that go along with it. But I understand, like, if people got the notification, it goes Raiders re-signed Dylan Parham. I would say 60% of people that are just not or just casual guys and look at names are going to be like, "Oh, our offensive line sucked so bad last year. Why did we do it?" But it was just sometimes a fresh blood works out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely.
Keep an eye on Michael Pittman as a wide receiver that the Giants will consider. So that means now that Alec Pierce has
I was
re-signed,
gonna ask that too. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, Michael Pittman could be available in trades. That would you be
I would
interested in him?
I wouldn't mind Michael Pittman though. You bring in Michael Pittman, big time target right there. And yeah, I definitely bring him in. Now what would you give up for him though?
Number one wide receiver who has injury problems. I don't know. I'm cheap, dude. Like, somebody was saying the best offer for Brian Thomas Jr. right now has been a fourth. So are you? I'm good with always giving up a third round pick as long
Yeah.
as it's. But I mean, you always want to try to keep as many top 100 picks as you can. That's
Yeah.
always like the rule of thumb. So anything after 100, I'd give up
I
because
mean,
you're getting a proven guy already. You know what I mean? Somebody that you know that can do it. Um, yeah. I would say anything after 100. I don't know what our draft picks are after that, but somebody's saying Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs.
mm,
So the Patriots, Raiders, Chargers, and 49ers were all extremely interested in Alec Pierce, and he turned down more money to stay in Indianapolis. So loyalty over money is what they're saying.
mm. And I bet the Raiders gave him that big deal. But it is what it is, though. It is what it is. We'll move on from that and see what happens next.
Yeah, and Um, if the Chiefs, I don't know. See, I wouldn't understand why the Chiefs would go after uh Walker, like if they did, like if I haven't seen the notification, but when they're sitting there and they can get the top running back in the draft, and yeah, Kenneth Walker signing with the Chiefs right there.
Ooh. Let me see. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Wait, who announced that one?
So it doesn't say the contract. Jordan Schultz has it on his Twitter if you want it.
Okay, I'll pull up Jordan. Jordan Schultz always seems to know.
Well, Adam Scheffler has it too. Like, but nobody has the actual what he's signing for.
Okay, I got it right here. Okay, so another breaking news. Something in the division. It seems as if Kenneth Walker will be taking his talents over to KC. Going to be in the division. And knowing the Kansas City Chiefs, they've always been a team that's been looking for, that premier running back. They just haven't found it, But Super Bowl MVP running back Kenneth Walker III intends to sign with the Chiefs per multiple sources. A big-time new weapon added for Patrick Mahomes. Now that's definitely crazy news.
Yeah, that's I mean, that is one thing that the Chiefs have been missing is running back, and I just thought maybe they would go after Jeremiah Love. Does it stop him from getting love? Maybe not.
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? See, the Raiders should have got him, man.
Should have got Walker.
We should have got Walker, dog. He just won
Well,
the Super Bowl and bounced. He basically did.
I talked about I put a video up yesterday about like getting a 1-2 punch because we talked about Clint Kubiak talking about bringing another guy in and being the partner next to Ashton Genty, but not like overtaking Ashton Genty. And then everybody in the comments were like, "Nope, we need Kenneth Walker. We need Travis Etienne Jr." Like, and I'm like, we drafted a guy at number 6 overall. We don't want to take away too much from him.
Yeah,
Like, we didn't draft a guy number 6 overall just to go out there the next year and sign a guy for $10 million to be his partner. Like, Genty has to be the number one guy. We're just looking for a complimentary back or that 1-2 punch to go along with it, the change of down back. So going out there and signing Kenneth Walker wouldn't be the right deal for us. And yeah, especially it would make the Genty pick look absolutely bad. You know what I mean?
yeah. Hey, as much as we joke around, like I don't think that the Raiders need to, and I don't think they will go out and get a top caliber running back like K9 or somebody like that. But there's definitely a lot of other running backs that the Raiders could go out and get as far as like a solid RB2 or somebody that we could bring. I know Tyler Allgeier's been a name out there. J.K. Dobbins. There's plenty of options out there, but as it sits right now, it's gonna be Ashton Genty and then whoever else. But
yeah, but there's a lot of good options out there, and then we have, like you said, we have enough draft picks that we can do it. But I know everybody likes the Walker and ETN and even Gainwell might not be too much for us, but like the Rachaad White, the Nick Chubbs and stuff like that, that would be the kind of where I would be like focusing on is somebody that has proven it in the NFL, but that doesn't need that starting role or not going to get paid that starting role, and then come in here and teach Genty a couple things, which we tried to get last year. And I would love to have Tyler Algier. I'm just wondering what he's looking for in the
his market, yeah.
what he's looking for if he's trying to get paid, and because there is teams that I think would pay for him. But somebody just said Algier to the Raiders. Is that true?
Let me see.
This is what like what sucks about it, but
I don't think so. No, I don't see nothing on
or is he
Algier.
just saying that that's what he wishes?
I think that's what he's saying. He wishes because it would have pulled up. Yep.
Yeah, you're
Fucking, we have Genty. What about Joe Mixon? How y'all feeling about him to the Raiders? Joe Mixon, would it be bad? But I don't know if he want to be an RB2. But we'll see. Oh, Jesse says I'm saying we signed for him for that. We signed him for that, not that we signed him.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Jesse, if we could trust me, if the notification comes that we got Tyler Algier, that's a great pickup. Like that's a great 1-2 punch, because you saw what he did with Bijan Robinson last year, the last couple of years. I just wonder, like what, like you said, we just wonder what the market would be. But Mike Clay said the Raiders suddenly have a potential for a good cornerback trio in the NFL: Eric Stokes, Darren Porter, and Terron Johnson in the slot. Exactly what we were talking about earlier. Now the NFL is saying, like, look at the Raiders' defensive back rooms; it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they're trending in the right direction for sure. They're definitely trending in the right direction. I feel like the Raiders might be silent today, but I could be wrong though. I feel like they're going to be silent for the most part today. But unless they were willing to go and pay Alec Pierce. So I feel like looking at the other wide receivers, they're definitely going to bring somebody in today. I could see Rashid coming in if possible, but we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Well, yeah, once the big names fall, and they could, just because we opened it up at 9:00 and it's 9:30, it's only been half an hour, doesn't mean anything. And like you said, really, you can't even sign your name to the contract until Wednesday.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of things out there like Devin Lloyd, or like I said, I want a linebacker. And then there's, when you look at the linebackers and you look at how many are out there, and now you're waiting for the Raiders to negotiate on it. There's multiple guys that I would be happy with at that position, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, my number one guy that I would like the Raiders to sign was Quay Walker. So say they're on the phone with Quay Walker, but they're also talking to Devin Lloyd, Nakobe Dean, some of these other guys. I don't know. Maybe Spytech still likes Levante David from his Tampa Bay days, because Devin White worked out well for him. Like, there's so much going on that you don't need to sign that guy or get his approval day one. And it's the Raiders. Sometimes they don't like to announce their news, right?
Yeah. She wants to come back to Seattle, but he's still going to test free agency. I think that's a possibility he could go back to Seattle, though. But there might be money out there that he could make, especially, the Raiders or any of these other teams that's looking for, a wide receiver or somebody that could stretch the field right now.
Want a player like Spillane again? Like what? What kind of? Trying to look. If you guys, sometimes it's funny just to see the stuff that goes on. Like that people say, like, I don't know if I sent you the thing right now, but it says, here's your how to treat free agency. Right, here's your flow chart. It's the free agent, so you put the free agent that you want. So Alec Pierce, right? If he signs with our team, hell yeah, great one. If he signs with somebody else like he did, man, we didn't need to sign Alec Pierce for 114 million.
Yeah, one of many ways.
Somebody overpaid for that dude. Like, he's not even that good, anyways. Like that's how you look at free agency. So if somebody doesn't sign with the Raiders, it's because they weren't that good, anyways.
Exactly. I think that's the way we're gonna look at it, though, right? That's definitely gonna be the way we look at it.
That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I have a feeling the Raiders are just going to be silent for the better part of the first half of today. They might make another move today, but we'll have to wait and see on that, though.
Yeah, and like I said, if we'll be back tomorrow morning with anything that breaks overnight, but there's nothing like too serious that we're going to be like, oh, we need to go breaking news, because like you said, you kind of also have to be optimistic about it, because you gotta be like, okay, did they sign? Are they gonna follow through on their word come Monday or come Wednesday?
Yeah. But yeah, Raider Nation, let me know down in the comments below who you guys want to hear. I know a lot of people can say Tyler Linderbaum. But there's definitely going to be a lot of names out there. We need the top offensive lineman. Yeah, definitely. Ellis from ATL. Oh, that wouldn't be bad.
There hasn't been one post that I post like I'll be like, let's talk about linebackers or let's talk about this, and every Raider fan says the same thing. What about offensive line? What about offensive line? Yeah, what about offensive line? Like, let's see what they know. I know Kubiak said. Remember, he said there in the combine interview that he said that he likes some of the offensive linemen that we have. So I wonder how aggressive they are. But I mean, of course, you're not going to pass when you can upgrade the position. You're gonna try to do it at any cost.
No, for sure. Got Romeo Dobbs. Yeah, Romeo Dobbs would be crazy. Mike Evans. Somebody said Mike Evans. I'm not really high on that, but if it happens, it happens. I wouldn't be like, oh, let's go. But I probably will say that. But I wouldn't. It's not the top of my list right now. We got Devin Lloyd and Tyler Linderbaum. Devin Lloyd would be huge. He'd definitely be huge for this defense.
So here's the thing about this time of year too. So I read this about Mike Evans' agent is using the media right now to drive up the price on him. So they're throwing like random teams out there or saying like, "Oh yeah, Mike Evans is serious about leaving the Buccaneers," just to get the money up on his deal. Because when people look at Mike Evans, they go, "Okay, the dude's been in the league for 10 plus years." Last year was the first time that he had a very bad season. He's always has had hamstring injuries, but last year was the first one that actually, what do you have? 300 less than 400 yards last year. So his value is down. So sometimes you got to remember the agents are playing the media up a little bit just to make you feel like, oh, hey, there's interest out there. Hey, he'll go to the Raiders, but really he's just trying to get more money from the team that he's already at.
Yeah,
Not trying to be the Debbie Downer, just saying like there are a bunch of fake reports out there or stuff that gets thrown out there.
true. Shout out to Bungie. He says, very interested to see where they take the big swings here. Um, Same here. It's going to be interesting to see how this regime is when it comes to big name free agents, especially when you have Clint Kubiak in the building. The antisocial Raider says we need both of the Usos, Samalo and Epinesa. Bring them in, Us. As many polys as we can. I'm down with it. We need a huge hitter on the defense. Hey, that's why we need to bring back Devin White.
Well,
What are
because
the chances that?
that's what
What?
I expect. Like AJ would be good because like you're looking for the depth kind of guys. Like you're looking for that rotation of multiple players in here, and that's what I'm saying. If we don't spend our money on like one or two guys, and we go out there, and we spend our money on 10 to guys or depth guys or depth pieces like that aren't like starters, but on the verge of it, and we're just like
Yeah.
building for the future. I like that. Um, who is Mooks? He said, "What are your chances of getting Hendrickson?" And this is what I'm talking about. If you got the notification right now that said Raiders signed Trey Hendrickson, what would go through your mind?
I'd be happy. I'd be excited. I think that'd be huge for the defense, though.
But would you not question like why did we trade Maxton? Like why did
No,
we
I wouldn't question
like
it
what's the future of the team? Like
because I
Hendrickson is
think
what,
I low
32 years
feel
old?
I low feel like Max wanted out though. I feel like he wanted to test it and wanted to go, and they left on good terms. And you're basically replacing what Max was over here with another guy that could have the same or maybe even better. Uh, what's the word? Production. Have a little bit better production than what Max would be over here. So I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't question anything. I'd just be excited about it. I'm guessing
Be
you
excited about
approach it.
it, but you also got to be like you also got to like wonder like okay, I thought we were rebuilding. Like that's not. I don't think bringing Hendrickson over here is a rebuilding tool. Like maybe it helps for 1 year or two
But that's
years.
what I'm saying. I think it helps out for a couple of years, but no, I don't know if he's looking to get paid, or I don't know if he's looking to get paid, or I don't know if he's looking to win right now. If he's looking to win right now, then I think the Raiders are the best option, but it's on him.
So Kenneth Walker got 3 years, $43 million.
Hmm.
So $14.3 million a year for a running back.
He got RB1 money. That's for sure.
Yeah. So that put him right there with Brees Hall. So he's now the fourth highest paid running back in the league. It's Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Um, but I mean, you win the Super Bowl and you're the Super Bowl MVP, you can get paid like it, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. I don't see anything else over here, but nah, we're definitely gonna be. I'm definitely gonna look out for the rest of the day and see what the Raiders are gonna do. But like I said, it's gonna be really interesting to see what they do because there's a lot of different directions that you can go, and as you guys can see, with it, 30 minutes into the free agency tampering period window opening up right now, there's been a lot of moves going back and forth, and even big contracts going back and forth. So we'll see. What are the chances of us getting Rashawn Gary? 0%. Rashawn Gary just got traded
Yeah, he
to
went to Dallas
the
for
Dallas
fourth round.
Cowboys.
Remember, he posted that Instagram goodbye a couple days ago, and then all of a sudden he got hacked and he took it down.
All of a sudden, he said he got hacked. It's like, come on now.
So the second running back is off the market, right? What did the Rams just say? Rams just signed somebody.
Oh, did they?
Oh no, sorry, I thought it was a running back.
Oh,
Rams
Jaylen
signed
Watson.
a different. They signed another cornerback to go
I see
along with
Jaylen
them.
Watson. Yeah, but yeah, no. That being said, those like, well, we'll definitely. How much would he cost us? I don't know how much it would cost for. I think he's asking for Trey Hendrickson.
For Trey Hendrickson, I don't know what is he? He's an edge guy. The top. I don't know. He's not going to cost the top end, but if you put Trey Hendrickson, probably what around Rashawn Gary level, if not better, right? Like I would say he's better. So probably Josh Allen Hines level. That's $28 million a year.
Yeah, you're looking about for a 31-year-old passer. You're looking around like 20 to 30. That's what
Because
he's saying.
Nick Bosa makes 34 million. So I
Yeah,
would say anywhere between 30 to $35 million is what Hendrickson's going to ask for because he did lead the league in sacks 2 years ago.
he's gonna cost somewhere close to what Maxx Crosby was basically. So he basically would be replacing Maxx Crosby on the field and in the pockets.
And then all time legend said Tua's a Falcon. Well, that's the rumor is that the Falcons really want Tua
Yeah, no,
to go there.
the Raiders could still have a chance to bring him in though if they need him.
Yeah, you're getting Tua for $1.5 million. So I mean, it doesn't hurt to make that like same thing with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's going to go somewhere for cheap. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ian said that we don't know shit. It's true.
Cool.
Ian Markovich.
Oh yeah, you're not lying, News.
He ain't lying.
You ain't lying.
It don't say right here. It don't say experts. At no point does it say that.
Extras, this ain't the place for you, dog.
I mean, but when you start your own show, Ian, go watch that one.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything as of late. I don't think the Raiders, like I said, I think they're just gonna chill out for a little bit right now. It just opened. It's only 30 minutes. But one person that is off the market, god damn it, man. So one of my favorite players that I really wanted to bring over here to Las Vegas is definitely Big Goose. Let's bring him over.
Damn, that's a lot of money.
Jalen Phillips is heading to the Carolina Panthers for a 4-year 120 for $120 million. That's crazy.
That's a lot of money.
How much is that? How much is that per? I'm over here is 30 mil. That's Maxx Crosby money right there. That's Maxx Crosby money right there.
So I mean, hey, good for the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers showed that that they snuck into the playoffs last year. They're an up and coming team. They rebuilding like the same like that's what I always say. Like the Raiders need to take a playbook from the Panthers and look at how they rebuilt their team there and go from there. And now people are actually like there was a time where nobody would go to Carolina.
Yeah, it definitely. And this Okay, it takes a big name off the market though. That's crazy.
Somebody said hella overpaid for him.
Yeah.
There is no
He has upside though. That's the thing, is that the fact that he has a lot of upside though.
Yeah, and
He's younger.
the youth to go along with it like that. I mean, I think that's what you're looking at the most. He's 27 years old. You know what I mean? Now, Jalen Phillips came out of UCLA, and remember that people didn't want to draft him. They didn't want to draft Jalen Phillips. Why? Because he had a bad back, and he wasn't going to last long in the NFL. And now he's on his second big contract, or now you know what I mean, like his third team and another big contract. Good for him. This is why sometimes draft days, people fall on draft day that mean absolutely nothing when they go and listen to some of these reports.
Well, we got some breaking news though. It isn't Raiders related, guys. So, but this is big news. Michael Pittman Jr. is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's good for Pittsburgh.
He's going to pair up with DK Metcalf, with one of the scariest wide receiver rooms in the NFL. That's for sure. So that's big news. I don't know. They don't have a quarterback over there, but we were just talking about Michael Pittman too, and possibly bring him over here. But yeah, traded to the Steelers. But what's the compensation? They haven't said it yet.
Well, I think the Steelers learned last year that, hey, you need that other guy on the other side of DK. We thought we were going to get George Pickens and DK together, and then a couple weeks later they traded George Pickens. But I think this is good because this Pittman is not your diva wide receiver, at least not yet, where he's just going to go out there and be your grinder. So good.
When you go to the Steelers, though, you never know.
Well, I think it's when you leave the Steelers is when you become the diva, right?
That's true. Or if you get drafted by the Steelers, I guess.
Somebody said unless DK punches another fan in the stands, we'll be seeing both of these together. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they gave up for him. Because I think that would set the market for your Brian Thomas and everybody else, right?
No, yeah, depending on what they got in return for him, for sure.
But what do we know?
Not a damn thing, Oos. But yeah, no, hey, yeah, that's crazy. So that takes out Alec Pierce. Phillips is out. Pittman is out. Well, he wasn't even really in for the most part. But that being said, though, Oos,
they're saying it's a late round swap, but nobody's actually saying what pick it is. So late round could be considered fourth or later.
Yeah, fourth, fifth, or later.
Yeah, so I mean,
I guess all we're waiting on is the Tyler Linderbaum, right? Tyler Linderbaum come over to the Raiders, dog, or Shaheed, one of these names. But it's gonna be moving fast, though. But shout out to the chat, though, man. Y'all came in here pretty deep. Hey, if anything else breaks, I'll be on here. I'll break the news on the channel or give you guys my thoughts. But so far, the Raiders have only made one move. The Raiders have already made just one move, though, bringing in Eric Stokes, re-signing him to a 3-year, $30 million deal. I don't know why I just shoved my head, but outside of that, some big names that's already off the market: Jaylen Phillips, Alec Pierce, Kenneth Walker. But those are just kind of names that just really stood out to me because those are players that Raider fans wanted to bring over here. But we'll see. It's just the beginning. If you guys haven't already, man, hit that like button. On the way out, takes a little bit of your time. And yeah. Okay. They traded him to release $24 million in cap space. Michael Pittman.
Well, shit. They signed Alec Pierce for 29. They had to do something.
Somebody said keep eyes on Justin Jefferson. Richard Johnson.
Who said that?
Richard Johnson.
Who's Richard Johnson?
NFL. He's like what's his face? Adam Schefter and those boys. Right here. Richard Johnson. Oh my God. Something might happen.
What does it say? A parody account?
No. Where does it say that?
No, I'm just saying, I never heard of Richard Johnson.
I've heard of a lot of Richard Johnsons. Yeah.
Dick Johnson.
NFL insider, player, safety advocate, forward thinker. Yeah. Hey, maybe send that first round pick for Justin Jefferson. Who knows?
Sounds legit.
Sounds legit. But yo, Raider Nation, man, until the next one, man, we'll come back when some news breaks as well. You can find me on all social media platforms. And of course, Joe Morley right here at the Joe Morley. Until the next one, we are